Hello, everyone. Hello, good to see you. Welcome. Okay, still giving maybe a minute or so for everyone to join. We can get started, but good to see already some familiar faces. How is everyone doing? Good. Yes. Hope you are excited for some amazing tea. I think almost everyone should be here. So hello everyone again. I think most of you are joining already, not the first time, or there are just a few maybe joining for the first time, but I think most of you know us already. So is Simona, the president of the Global Japanese Tea Association, and this is our kind of routine event, Meet the Tea Farmer event, where we invite tea farmers, tea producers from around Japan to introduce their teas and to tell their stories. And today we have an amazing guest with us, Kajihara-san from Kumamoto. Ohayou gozaimasu. Kajihara. そうです。お願いします。
こんにちは、熊本の梶原と言います。今日はよろしくお願いします。
So, this is Kajihara-san from Kumamoto. Thank you for joining today. はい。お願いします。
はい。熊本で釜入り茶をしています。最近。
すみません、もう一度ちょっと音出てまして。
釜入り茶と紅茶、それからウーロン茶も少し作っています。
So, Kajihara-san makes kamairicha, but also a little bit of black tea and oolong. Yes. いいですね。今日は釜入り茶、ティー茶ですね。
そうですね。今日は釜入り茶とほうじ茶を用意していますので、どうぞ飲んでみてください。うちの畑では、農薬を一切使っていません。それから、使っている肥料は有機肥料だけです。安心して飲めるお茶です。
And the teas we will try today, I think most of you should have it already with you, will be kamairicha and hojicha made by Kajihara-san. And he is also explaining that he is farming in an organic way, so he's not using any pesticides, and the fertilizer he's using is an organic fertilizer. So these teas are very safe and good to drink.
以上です。
ありがとうございます。So this is a short introduction. Of course, we will hear more as we go. But I think it's also nice if you can introduce yourselves to Kajihara-san. I think some of you might have seen him in the Japanese Tea Marathon last year, but I think it's now nice to kind of get to know each other face to face. So if you don't mind, because we are of course recording, and if you don't mind to be recorded, it would be great if you could just briefly introduce yourself, where you are and what you do. And okay, let's see, maybe Lisa, would you like to start?
First, hello. I'm Lisa Bachman. I'm from York, Pennsylvania in the United States, and I've been drinking, studying, and enjoying tea for quite a few years now, and really enjoying especially the black tea from Japan recently. So I'm really looking forward to hear what you have to say about the teas, and I just love these Meet the Farmer meetings that we learn and gain.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us always. これはリサさんです。アメリカのペンシルバニア州 の方ですね。で、いろんなお茶の活動、お茶はいろんなところが興味があって、で、日本茶の中で一番好きなのは和紅茶です。で、今日は梶原さんのお茶についてとか産地についての話はすごく聞きたいです。Thank you so
よろ
much.
しくお願いします。
よろしくお願いし
Thank you. Thank you, Simona.
Thank you so much.
まして。Aiko, would you like to also introduce yourself?
Oh, hi, I'm Aiko, and I'm from Los Angeles. I started drinking Japanese green tea in 2020 during the pandemic and just totally fell in love with it. And I've been drinking every day. I'm a landscape architect and I am half Japanese. I have family in Kyushu. So I hope to travel and get back there soon as possible and
Oh,
meet some of the tea farmers. So hopefully maybe I could come see you.
Oh, yes. Great, Aiko. Would you like to try some in Japanese? Of course, I will help with the rest.
Watashi wa Aiko desu. Hajimemashite.
Right.
Yoroshiku onegai shimasu.
Great.
ありがとうござい
My
ます。
Nihongo is not good. Benkyo shimasu. Mainichi. I'm trying really hard.
Okay. No, well done.
Thanks.
はい、アイコさんです。ロサンゼルの方ですね。でも、日本でも日本人の家族がいて、で、日本茶は本気で2020年から飲み始めてて、ちょうどコロナの間で、で、九州にも家族いるので、今度日本に来れる時で、茶農家さんに会いたいと思ってて、で、また、梶原さんのところにもお邪魔するかもしれないって言ってました。
Welcome です。
Yes, please come visit, Aiko.
Thank you. I hope so.
Yes, hopefully soon. Okay, and we also have Lamia. Would you like to introduce yourself as well?
Yes. So I think I will try a little bit Japanese that I have,
Perfect.
and then I will continue in English because there was some, complicated words. Hajimemashite, Lamia desu. Belugi kara kimashita ga ima Canada ni sunde imasu. I'm a tea sommelier. So yeah, I'm trying to work in the tea world. I'm becoming slowly a tea consultant to, see to do like some tea pairing with food and tea. And I'm really, really interested into Japanese tea. It's been a long time. I know a lot about teas, but now I hope that one day I will specialize in Japanese tea one day. So yeah, that is why I joined the Global Japanese Tea, and I'm super, super happy to be here today.
はい、ラミアさんです。日本語でも少し自分ご紹介し
Oh,
て。
よろしくお願いします。Sorry, I forgot.
で、彼女はお茶のソメリエ、お茶の仕事もしてて、で、今度は日本茶集中したいですね。お茶と料理のペアリングとか、そういうところが興味があって、で、日本茶にも専門的にしたいと思ってて、こういうイベント、最近参加してます。はい。Thank you so much, Lamia. And we still have a few more people. So I would like to ask Delphine, would you like to introduce yourself as well?
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. Nice to see some people I already met. So I'm Delphine. I'm from Canada. I'm French Canadian. and I work in a tea house where I give classes, among other, on Japanese tea, which is my favorite kind of tea. And I especially like Kemaricha, and Koshun is my favorite cultivar, so I'm very excited for tonight's tea.
Perfect.
よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。
Delphine, would you like to do in Japanese? Or?
My Japanese is too bad. I'm so sorry.
No problem. OK。デルフィンです。カナダで住んでいます。お茶の店で働いてて、お茶の販売もちろんけど、お茶のワークショップとか、お茶の授業とか、やってたりします。でも、その中で、日本茶は一番好きで、日本茶の中で、釜入り茶は一番。と品種の中でコシュンは一番。ですから、今日は完璧ですね。
ラッキーでしたね。
はい。Thank you, Delphine.
Thank you.
And let's see, Paula, would you like to introduce yourself? We are just going around with introductions.
Hi, I'm Paula Winchester from the middle of the United States. It's Kansas City, Missouri. And I have attended, I don't know, at least a half a dozen of these events. So it's, I enjoy getting to taste the different types of teas that are being made in Japan. And I want to learn more. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paula. パウラさんはカンザスシティ、ミスリ州から来てて、で、このイベントも何回も参加してて、ですごく興味があります。今日も楽しみにしています。Thank you so much, Paula. And I think maybe that's all the people that had their cameras on. If someone would still like to jump in and introduce yourselves, please do. Otherwise, I think we also have an introduction in the chat because there was some noise in the background. So I think that's from Audrey. あともう一人、ちょっと周りはうるさいからちょっとマイクオフにしてて、でもチャットで自己紹介しています。オードリーさんっていう方はボストンアメリカから来てて、で日本茶はもう数年前から好きになってて、で去年日本茶マガジンにも参加 しまして、でそこはすごく楽しかったから、これからアメリカ人周りの方に日本茶紹介したいと思ってて、小さなお茶の授業これからやります。で、今日のお茶は今ちょっとアメリカの時間で少し遅い時間になるんですけど、夜の遅い時間になるんですけど、今日ちょっとカフェインが弱みがあって、それでもイベントの前に入れてみましたって言ってます。すごく美味しかったです。はい。Okay. So so I think that's probably everyone for now, but please feel free to join in whenever you like if you have questions or comments. As you know, this is very kind of informal and very conversational event, so anytime you would like, you are welcome to do. And if you don't want to turn camera and audio on, you can also add your comments into the chat. We will be looking there as well. And for today, as you know, we have two amazing teas, and we have Kajihara-san with us, who will help explain and show all about it. So I think we can start with one of the teas right away and see what it is like. そしたら梶原さん多分もうみんなの自己紹介ここでいいと思ってて、一つ目のお茶入れ方に行ってみますか。お茶の説明とお茶の入れ方できればお願いします。
はい、わかりました。それじゃあまず最初に、甲州、釜入り茶。
So the first tea is the Kamairicha from Koshun cultivar.
入れてみます。
Let's brew it.
まず、香春は、こう日本茶の中でも独特の香りのある特徴のあるお茶ですね。
So Koshun among Japanese cultivars is one that has quite a unique aroma. どんな感じですか？
日本ではミルキーだとか、それからハーブのようなお茶っていうふうに言われたりもしますけれども、世界各国の人にこう飲んでもらってるんですけど、まあ同じようなことを聞きますね。まあ、
ミルキーとハーブの。
いや、そうです。まあ、紅茶にしてもウーロン茶にしても美味しいお茶ができるんで、これ非常に面白いお茶ですね。
So Kajihara-san is telling us more about the cultivar, Koshun, and as we said, it is known for a little bit unique, peculiar aroma, and Kajihara-san describes it as being a little bit both milky but also herbal. So people in Japan also told him like this, but also people from around the world had similar opinions. So today we can try and taste. And he's also saying that this cultivar works well both for green tea like Kamairicha, but also for other teas, black and oolong.
じゃあ入れ方という。
お願いします。So how do we brew it?
今、ティースプーン探してるんだけどないので
そうですね。
直接入れます。まあこれ、知ってると思うんですけど、お茶を入れる。茶号って。
So Kajihara is going to show us. これはどれぐらいですか？
一人分がだいたい3グラム。
3グラムですね。So for one person, we want to use about 3 grams.
お湯の量が100ぐらいかな。から80。
100 cc.
うん。
So yeah, the tea we are using 3 grams for one person for one serving, and water is going to be about 100 milliliters.
で、急須に入れます。
もう直接に入れることですね。And we can already add the tea leaves directly into the teapot, like Kajihara-san is showing.
で、時間はだいたい1分ぐらい。
The brewing time will be about 1 minute.
じゃあお湯入れますね。
お湯の温度は
80度から90度。
regarding the temperature is between 80 and 90 degrees Celsius. And I think I need some of your help to translate that to Fahrenheit. Yes. I think will be about 200 Fahrenheit, roughly.
80 Celsius is
80
170.
degrees is 176.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Thank you, Andre. We have a summary of the instructions in the chat.
OK。だいたい1分経ちました。今日は見やすいように1回サーバーに移します。
And after 1 minute passes, we can pour it out. Kajihara-san is pouring it into the glass pot so we could see it better.
で、最後の1滴まできれいに注ぎ切ってください。
And please draw all the last drops, like Kajihara-san is showing as well.
出したら、急須の蓋は少しずらしておいてください。
And after that, we want to leave the lid just a little open, so not completely tightly closed.
感じ。見えないか。
はい。
で、ご覧の通り、釜入り茶っていうのは、煎茶、特に深蒸し茶と違って、色が非常にクリアで綺麗です。
So you probably can see on the camera and soon in your cups as well that unlike sencha or fukamushicha, kamairicha has a really clear appearance, very transparent.
では、いただいてみましょう。
おー、ちょっとみんな準備できてるか聞いてみましょう。Everyone, do you have your tea? Are you ready? Yes? Okay, I think できてるですね。はい。じゃあ、let's try. はい。乾杯。おー。美味しいですね。
この香りの元は、
うん。
タマリンっていう成分だと聞いてます。日本では桜の葉っぱの香り
ああ。
だって言われます。
So Kajihara-san is telling us that this aroma might be a little bit similar to the cherry tree leaves.
Cherry tree leaves.
Yeah. If you can recognize. チャットでもう美味しいのコメント来てますね。
I have a question. So this is a hybrid of, I'm gonna not say this probably very well, the Kurosawa and the Kanaya Midori clones, right? That's what I read on his website.
So you mean the cultivar?
Yeah, these are the two cultivars, but once he, bred the two together, does it have another name?
So the name of this one is caution.
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 How do you spell this word?
Let's see.
On the bag.
Okay, I see it.
パウラさんは梶原さんのホームページで見てて、で、この、品種は、2つの品種を合わせて作ってた品種ですよね。ちょっと忘れました。パウラ、could you say again which cultivars did you?
I thought it said Kurosawa, K-U-R-A-W-S-A-W-A, and K-A, I can't tell if that's an H-A-Y-A-M-I-D-O-R-I. I thought that's what I read. The only thing I go by is his color of his packets on his website.
I don't know. So,
Okay.
黒沢とか他の品種、ホームページで見てたんですけど、それ、香春って何か関係とかありますか？もう全然別々の品種ですか？
黒沢は関係なかったから、ちょっと俺もちょっと忘れちゃって、何と何だったって忘れたんですけど、何だったかな？ちょっと覚えてない。後で調べてみます。ごめんなさい。
全然忘れた。
Does Koshu have a translation in English?
香春って何が意味ありますか？その名前自体で、漢字自体とか。
香春の意味は、というか、なんで香春って名付けられたかって言いますと、香春の香は香りですね。に特徴があるお茶なので香り。春は、日本で静岡のことを昔、駿河って言ってましたね。
駿河？
駿河の春に山水の川って書いて、駿河。静岡で作られた品種なので、香春って名付けられた。
So it seems regarding the name, there are two characters for the caution cultivar. And the first character, ko, actually means the aroma.
Aroma.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. And this cultivar was created or bred in Shizuoka. So the second character kind of indicates the relationship with the location, Suruga area. So it's basically the aroma and the connection with the location in Shizuoka.
All right. Thank you. I like to know those kinds of things.
Okay. Thank you, Paula.
Did why the reason for getting into the pan-fired teas?
Okay. Oh, you
Um,
mean why Kajihara
Um,
to do it? Or?
Yeah, was there like a special interest that their family had for the pan-fired teas and more of the Kamaricha style rather than the sencha?
Good question. Okay, let's ask. 梶原さん、アイコンさんの質問は、梶原さんは、釜入り茶作るきっかけって何でしたか？なぜ、煎茶とか、そういう他のお茶じゃなくて、釜入り茶作ってたのは？
僕でうちの茶園の3代目なんですけれど、僕のおじいさんがお茶作りを始めたのが1950年。その時から最初からうちは釜入り茶なんで、別に煎茶を作ろうとも思わなかったし。
でもおじいさん、釜入り茶選んだ。So Kajihara-san is telling us that their family has been making tea for 3 generations. He's the 3rd generation, and so farming was started by his grandfather. And basically, his grandfather was the one who decided to make amairicha.
Nice. そうです。
でもあれ芦北とか熊本全体的で、釜入り茶作ってること多いですか？珍しいですか？
昔は九州、特に熊本、宮崎、佐賀っていうのが、釜入り茶の産地だったんですけれども、だんだんと釜入り茶の生産者が今は減ってきています。その理由は、釜入り茶は作るのが難しいっていうのと、見た目があまりきれいではないので、お茶を扱う商人さん、流通業者が、あまりいい値段をつけなかったんですね。
茶葉の見た目ですか？
見た目ですね。主に見た目。要は他のお茶とブレンドしたりするときにやっぱり扱いにくいっていうか、できにくいもんですから。で、やっぱ見た目も深蒸しのお茶とかが流行ってきて、ああいう緑緑したお茶の方が綺麗に見えるし、それで煎茶の方が高い値段がついて、釜入り茶っていうのがだんだん廃れてきた。
でももともとこの産地のお茶でしたんですよね、九州の。
そうですね。
So very interesting details Kajihara-san is sharing with us is that kamaricha actually is a quite common, quite local tea in the Kyushu area, including Kumamoto, Saga, Miyazaki. So in those areas, the tradition of making kamaricha was quite strong, but it started to go down in production quite a lot because apparently it did not get good evaluation from buyers. So the appearance was very different from other Japanese teas, and it was quite difficult to blend it in comparison. And other teas like Fukamushiche, the deep steam kind that gives this very dense, very green liqueur, became very common throughout Japan and became the expectation of the people. So kind of Kamairicha had a bit of struggle to compete with these other teas. And the production really shrank. でもそれでも梶原さんは釜入り茶もやめなくて続けてたんですね。他の煎茶とか深蒸し茶とかカイルとかじゃなくて。
その理由はうちはそもそも市場に出荷するお茶の商売のやり方じゃなくて、地元の人に売っていた。で、商売。で、別に地元の人は釜入り茶にも慣れてるもんですから、そういうお茶が好きなわけですよね。で、よく言うんだけど、他の大きな茶農家さんは、そんなたくさんのお茶をやっぱり個人のお客さんに売るって非常に難しいんで、やっぱり市場向けに作る。彼らは市場を見てお茶を作るけども、自分はお客さんを見てお茶を作ってきたっていうことです。
そんな感じですね。それ良かったですね。So the big difference, Kajihara is saying why he stuck with Kamairicha, why didn't he switch to other teas when it didn't have a good evaluation in the market, is that unlike other producers who are selling to the market, to the auction, Kajihara-san is basically selling it to local people around him in his town. And so he is basically selling it directly to the people who are drinking. And so, yeah, I think through that connection, he was able to keep Kamairicha going compared to other places. あと、梶原さん、チャットでコメントが来てて、デルフィネ、カナダの店で働いてる方は、釜入り茶は一番売れるって言ってます。緑茶の中で。Canada. Delphine, I just translated your comment in the chat, but would you like to share more details? I think that would be quite interesting for Kajihara-san to hear about the reactions to Kamairicha.
Sure. Well, the popularity of the Kamairicha is of course balanced by the fact that there's also a lot of sencha on the list, but only one Kamairicha. But what we really like about that tea is that first, it has, I think ours at least have a high quantity of caffeine, so people like it as a morning tea. It's also so delicious, so aromatic. But since we have a list with Chinese tea, is a tea that we use to help people who like Chinese tea go into Japanese tea or vice versa, because there's a roastiness that Chinese tea drinker like in that tea. So that's how I would explain it.
そう少しデルフィンからまたその釜入り茶についての情報が来てて、その働いてる店の中で煎茶何種類があるんですけど、釜入り茶は今一つだけで、それで目立つこともあるって言っているんですけど、でも釜入り茶はなんか普通の煎茶、日本の他の緑茶と、あと中国の緑茶のちょうど間ぐらいになるみたいな感じで、中国茶よく飲まれる方に日本茶紹介するときで紹介しやすい。で、逆にも日本茶飲んでる方けど、これからちょっと中国茶興味ある方にも釜入り茶紹介しやすい。で、ちょっと品質高くてカフェインとかちょっと強みで、でも味も香りもちゃんとしててすごく香りも良くて、で人気になってるみたいですね、カナダで。
素晴らしい。
So, that's great. Thanks, Delphine. Yeah. And how about this Kamairicha, everyone? Did you have any thoughts about the taste, about the aroma? I think would also be interesting to hear what you think.
For me, to be honest, I found it very herbal in a way. It reminds me because my roots are from Morocco, so we drink a lot of mint tea there with other herbs sometimes, mix it up. we do all know here, I think, the mint tea with mint and you know the green tea. But in Morocco we have different, you know, variant of it with other herbs. I don't know what is it called in English, unfortunately, and it reminds me of it a little bit. And I know the camaricha from the shop where Delphine works, and I found it very nice too, but a little bit different. Very interesting, this one. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah.
でライミアはこのお茶すごく面白いって言ってますね。ハーブ的な香り、ちょっとミントみたいなとか、に似てるかなって言ってて、ラミアは家族はモロコから来てて、そこでよくお茶とミント使う瞬間が多くて、で、まあそういう似てた感じにするって言ってますね。
It really has many layers, and the creaminess I can taste, like this creamy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, of
Sorry.
course.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can really detect that like creaminess in the mouth feel, and the aroma is really wonderful, like very interesting, and all the different layers of flavor. I think some like a little, I don't know, peppery or astringency. I'm not sure. I get that like initially. Yeah. Like, it's a really interesting sensation on the tongue.
そう、相川さんもすごく面白いしててなんていう波みたいなレアがあって、でちょっと胡椒みたいな感じにも少ししてて、なんかピリピリみたいな感じとか、そうすごく面白くて。Thank you,
Toshihiro-san.
はい。
China 行きますか？
そう、行きますよ。今は行ってないけど。
Does he go to, sorry, do you go to China, like to study?
Yeah, I think he got it. He got your question. いつでしたか？
もう4年ぐらい行ってないけど、その前は毎年お茶作りの勉強に台湾、中国とか行ってました。
そうですね。もう、so Kajihara-san, because of course now it's pandemic, for the last 4 years he couldn't go. But before that he used to go to Taiwan and China every year to study about the tea making from the producers there. どういうところとかどういうことを勉強してましたか？
主に紅茶作りの勉強なんですけれども、ですから私の作る紅茶は、中国とか台湾の紅茶に似ています。ただ日本の品種で作るので同じものではないですけれども、その紅茶作りの勉強に行ったんだけれども、それはその技術っていうのはカマリ茶だったりウーロン茶作るのにも非常に役に立ってるなって思います。
So mainly Kajihara-san goes there to study about black tea production. So his black teas are probably quite similar to black teas you can find in Taiwan and China, but of course the cultivars are different, so it's not going to be completely the same. But for black tea as well, they're using the pan firing method, so it contributes to improving the skill for the green teas like Kamairicha and for the oolongs as well. 何が日本でやってることと違いが何が見つけてますか？釜入りチェ製法で。
向こうに行って感じたのは、例えば自分も学校でこのお茶作りを勉強したんですけれども、日本の教え方っていうのは、 例えば温度が何度で、時間が何分で、ここで水分が何%抜ければいいんだよというようなこう教え方なんですけれども、中国や台湾に行くと、こんな感じでいいよ、葉っぱがこの状態になったらいるんだよとか、揉み始めるんだよとか、で乾燥だったらこれくらいで潰して粉々になったらこれくらいで OK だよとか、こう教え方が非常にこうアバウトなんだけれども体で覚えられる、感覚で覚えられるっていうのが非常に役に立ってる。
面白いですね。
うん、
So I asked what Kajihara, what kind of differences Kajihara-san felt when going to study about tea production to China and Taiwan. And he said that in Japan, the way to teach is often by numbers, like how long or what is the temperature, by kind of adding the numbers, the data to it. But what he found by going there is that it's not like that at all. It's by touch, by feeling. So it feels like it's not precise. But in a way, Kajihara-san liked that style because he could learn with his own body by touching, by feeling. Like if you touch and it's like this is the time to go to the next step or to process in the next machine and things like that. So yeah, so he learned basically by actual practice, by touching and sensing the tea.
I have a question. I'm wondering if what does he think about Japanese people? I mean, are Japanese people interested about oolong tea more than green tea, or like the typical tea, the typical Japanese tea? Do they like kamaricha, oolong? Is it popular?
ラミアの質問は日本人は、ウーロン茶とかカマイリ茶とかそういうお茶に興味がありますか？
作り手としては、作る側の人間としてはもちろん興味あるし、それはなぜかっていうと、自分の場合は、台湾に行ったから、やっぱそこで飲んだウーロン茶が美味しくて作ってみたいと思ったし、うちのお客さんもこうウーロン茶に興味あられる方が多くて、でも本当に好きな人は台湾や中国から買ってるけど、食べるにはまだまだ届かないところ。でもうちのお客さんのお話、そうですね、聞くとウーロン茶好きな人はやっぱ結構多いです。
So Kajihara-san, of course, he has his own interest in these teas. He's going all the way to Taiwan and China to learn about it. But in terms of people in Japan, it's maybe a bit hard to say because he's saying that maybe if people really like oolong, they probably would buy it from other countries rather than Japan. Japanese oolong is not still so known or so popular, but his customers, of course, he has his own customers and they do love oolong quite a lot. Yeah, so maybe it's not so well known yet, but there are people who like it.
To be honest, I'm very curious about the oolong. Toshihiro-san, very curious about it. So yeah. Yeah, of course, Taiwan is well known for that, but why not Japan for oolong? Yeah, it's something different, so why not? I'm very curious about it.
ラミアさんはすごくウーロン茶にも興味があって、特に日本のウーロンそう、もちろん他の国は有名なんですけど、でも日本のウーロンも何が特徴あるんじゃないかって言ってますね。
もう売り切れちゃったんですけど、ぜひ来年この甲州のウーロン茶を買って飲んでみてください。
もう早いですね。So Kajihara-san unfortunately has already sold out his oolong of this year, the caution cultivar, but he says please try it next year. Was so fast.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Now I'm over curious, I think, about it.
今はもうなくなってるからもっと興味が増えてますっていう。
予約しとかない予約しとかないとすぐ売り切れます。
So you have to actually reserve it, otherwise it sells out very quickly. Kajihara-san is saying.
Oh, sorry, I missed it. Which is the one that sells out?
The oolong cha from Koshin cultivar, from the same cultivar.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know shitemasu ka cherimoya? Cherimoya? Fruit? Do you know the cherimoya? This tea, it reminds me of the flavor of a cherimoya. It's like a creamy white fruit.
Cherimoya?
Cherimoya. It comes from like Peru or Ecuadorian.
Does it resemble something? I'm not sure myself if I know it.
It's like a round, like this size, green, midori color, green color on the outside, and inside is a white flesh.
なんかペルーで、南アメリカでそういう果物、シェルモヤ、日本語でちょっとわからないんですけど。
聞いたことはチェルモ
チェルモヤ
Cherimoya. Yeah, let me type it in.
聞いたことありますか、梶原さん。
食べたことはない。
おー。
The flavor, they say it's like a cross between banana and pineapple with a little bit of like strawberry or kiwi.
Wow, okay, the whole fruit salad.
But it's, yeah, kind of like a banana and a pineapple together.
なんか味はバナナとパイナップルになんかブレンド合わせた味に似ているそのシェルモヤ。で、愛子さんはこのお茶をそのシェルモヤちょっとなんか似てるって言ってます。すみません、よく知らない私はその南アメリカの果物。
I'm gonna try to pair. I'll try to pair this tea with a cherimoya.
Okay, please share with us what comes out. Interesting. Okay. そしてちょっと梶原さん前は少し熊本足北の説明と梶原さんのお茶作りについての説明には進めたらいいかなと思ってて、ちょっとプレゼンは画面共有しますね。
はい。
So we still have one more tea to taste, but before that, we would also like to share a bit more information about the tea farm and the area as well, Kumamoto, Ashikita. So we are going to share it on the screen now. Okay. Hopefully it works. So today, as you know, our guest, Kajihara Tea Garden, and in Japanese, Ocha no Kajihara. And they are located in Kumamoto. This is the region in the south of Japan, this area over here. And Kumamoto is known as the land of fire. So why is that? Is because it has one of the largest and most active volcanoes in Japan, Aso, and this is the caldera inside. And it's not just not just a picture, but it does actually erupt from time to time. And having volcanoes, there are also lots of hot springs over there as well. So it's a very nice area. But yeah, these things can happen. So this is the eruption of the volcano in 2016. And actually, Kumamoto maybe is quite unlucky with these natural disasters and these natural dangers, because maybe you remember there was also a large earthquake in 2016, and this is a beautiful Kumamoto castle that got a little bit shaken up and torn with a earthquake. And lastly, all things combined, we even get flooding. So in recent years, it rains a lot and there can be flooding damage as well. So there are a lot of these natural struggles, natural things that are happening in Kumamoto. But talking about tea, it's quite a large tea producing area. So it ranks number 9 in 2020. So within the 10 largest producers in Japan. And it is also known, and we can later ask Kajihara-san about the wild tea, yamacha. So this is the tea that kind of just grows by itself by spreading the seeds, and you can find it in some areas. And we are talking about Kamairicha. So actually, this is one of the origin places. Kumamoto is one of the origin places of Kamairicha. Where it appeared several hundred years ago, 400 years ago or so, and was kind of brought first from China. And also, we talked about black tea, but interestingly, Kumamoto was the place where the first black tea training center opened in 1875. So at that time, basically, Japan opened the borders and saw that the tea was popular abroad, but also Europeans and other places, they were drinking black tea. So Japan also wanted to make black tea. And this was the first place to kind of start to learn about it, specialize in Kumamoto as well. And the tea producing areas inside the prefecture, there are a lot. So this is written a bit in Japanese, but I think you can follow these little leaves. The more leaves, the larger the production, but you can see it's kind of spread out through the whole prefectures. It's not one place that is making it. And today inside Kumamoto, we are in this a bit more southern western part, where the Kajihara tea garden is located. So scenery like this in the mountains. Kajihara-san, this picture was taken by Matsumoto last year when we were preparing for the Japanese tea marathon. So I think some of you participated and maybe saw as well. And a little bit of information. So Kajihara-san said that they are doing tea for about 3 generations. So since his grandfather started in 1950s, and the farm size about 2 hectares. And we know that it is all organic, so organic production, organic way. Because mountainous area, they are of course using the handheld machine, not the driven one, and they're making different teas. Also, we heard from Kajihara-san, mainly specializing in pan frying, but also not just green, but black and oolong teas as well. So Kajihara-san has been making tea for a long time. もう長い時間でお茶作ってることですよね、Kajihara-san。いつスタートでしたか？覚えてますか
？1980年。
80年。どういうきっかけでしたんですか？お茶自分でやろうと思ってたのは。
きっかけ？
はい。
もう僕は長男で後取りだったんで、
自然で。So Kajihara-san started farming in 1980, and I asked him what was the reason and how did he decide to do it. But he was the oldest son in the family, and that was just a natural way. Usually the oldest son would continue the family tradition, the family business. So yeah, so that happened in Kajihara-san's case as well. And we also touched on this already, that Kajihara-san does not sell to the market, but directly to the people, local people around. And there is a lot of yamacha. 山茶でもお茶作ってたりしますか？
売ってます。
何か品種のお茶と違いとか感じてますか？
ここはこの画像の通り、こう山の中に大きな森の中にポツンとある茶畑なんですけれども、いわゆる雑種なので、なんていうかな、人が植えた茶の木じゃないですよね、ここは。自然に茶の木なので、こう、ワイルドな感じがするかと思いきや、非常に繊細なお茶の味で、肥料もほとんどやっていないので、お茶本来の味が味わえる、非常に希少な大切なお茶の木。そしてここがうちのお茶のこうルーツになる、お茶を始めることのルーツなんですよね、この茶畑が。非常に手間がかかるんだけれども、やっぱりやめられない。
どういうお茶作ってますか？もう釜入り茶。
ここは釜入り茶ですね。
So this is actually a picture from the place that Kajihara-san looks after, and this is the wild tea yamacha. So actually no one planted it. It just kind of grew out by itself in the middle of the forest, in an opening in the forest. And it's a little bit hard to look after it. It's quite deep in the forest and so on. But Kajihara-san does make tea out of this wild bushes. He makes it as kamairicha, so similar to what we drink today, but he says the taste is more wild. It's not maybe as clean or as pronounced as the cultivar teas we have. So yeah, quite interesting.
Are we allowed to, can we make comments or questions now, or should we wait until the presentation is over?
Maybe we just have maybe another 10 minutes or so. So maybe after that we can go a bit more deeply. If that's okay. Yeah, and this is from the picking time. こういうイベントとかも、イベントっていうか、やってますか？
昔は地元の人たちを頼んで手摘みでやってたんですけれども、今はなかなか人が集まらなくて、イベントっていう形でこうやって毎年お客さん呼んでお茶摘みしてる。今年は30名来てくれたかな、30名弱で、福岡とか遠くは大阪からもうわざわざ来てくれ
いつぐらいですか？そういうイベント、茶摘み的に。
4月の、今年は23日だったかな。
7月。
大体毎年4月。毎年それくらいにやってます。
So Kajihara-san used to kind of gather people in town to pick the tea by hand, because of course it's wild, it's not grown in rows, so you cannot really harvest with machines and things like that. It has to be by hand. And he used to gather people in town, but recently it's a little bit hard to do that. So they are now doing it more like an event. So organizing an event once a year, and people from all over Japan, from Osaka and other places, they come and pick the tea. And usually it's kind of late July, this year around the 23rd of July. So maybe if ever you have a chance to be in Japan around this time, you could join Kajihara-san in picking the wild tea. あとこれも大変でしたんですよね、2020年に。これは梶原さんの茶畑ですよね。こ
れが2020年に土砂崩れで左の落ちたの 跡が見えると思うんですけど、
うん。
そこじゃなくて土砂崩れの跡です。
ここ全部。
そうそうそう。この右の方もそうなんですけど、これはも
右の方。
う、もともと道は一本だったんだけれども、
そっか。こうなってる。
でその今矢印がカソルがあるところが崩れていって茶の木がなくなったところです。
今はもうこういう状態ですか？何が？
そうですね、今はもう草が生えてきて、ここまではないですけども、ただ、なんていうかな。
The kokoro, heart shape.
Yeah, but so this is, I think we saw the title in the last slide. This is actually the effect from the landslide, from the flooding in 2020. And so now it looks like a heart, but here on the left side, it was all tea rows, it was all tea bushes, and this part slid down and basically destroyed the tea bushes over there. And on this side, Kajihara-san was also saying there was only one road, but there was some damage through the slide and it destroyed part of the field as well. So this is really what happens in reality with the landslides. It can have a big damage on the farm. I think there's a closer look as well. Yeah. 大変ですね。でも今ここで危なくないですか？作業するとか。
危ない。
And even now it's quite dangerous to do farming there because it hasn't changed much. It just has like weeds grown up, but the slide part is still there.
だから草の木の横に階段みたいのが見えるんですけど、滑り落ちないようにステップをつけたり。
We can see these kind of little stairs here. So Kajihara-san had to kind of make it stronger so you wouldn't slide down, fall down.
Do they have to build like a retaining wall or something?
何が、またそういうスライド乗らないように何が作ること？壁とか作ったり、なんかコンクリートとか、そういうことはありますか？ないですか？
やらない。お金がかかる。
そうですよね。No, they don't do anything because it's really costly, so it just left like this. そして、
so sorry.
みんなもう茶畑かわいそうって言ってるんですけど、でももう自然ですよね。もう何もすることないですよね。
そうですね。しょうがない。
Yeah, so it's natural disaster, not much you can do besides that. それからちょっとお茶作りの話についても、多分これ梶原さんの工場の中ですよね。
はい。
ちょっと写真見せながらどういうこと起こってるとか、何がなってるかとか、梶原さんから説明してもいいですか？
はい。これは、一番最初の、釜入りをするところですね。葉っぱが入っていく機械に葉っぱが運ばれているところです。
上のところですか？
これ、上は、生葉コンテナって言って、生葉を保管している、なんですけれども、それから下に落として、この右に見えるコンベヤみたいなので機械に入っていく。
So this is inside Kajihara-san's factory, and the tea leaves arrive at the top. There's the container for keeping the raw leaves, and as the time comes, they are pushed down to the lower part and then lifted by conveyor, lifted up. それはその同じコンベヤのところですよね。
そうです。はい。これはコンベヤで運ばれて、この機械の中に入って、まず殺生って言って、お茶の酸化酵素を不活性化させる。
So this is the first step. So through the conveyor, they are brought into the first machine, and this is where the oxidation is stopped by high heat of pan firing. どれぐらいですか、そのさせ止めること。時間的に。
時間的に、今この葉っぱが見えてるところ、この筒の中を通ってくる間にその撮影が行われるんですけど、ここはもう1分ぐらい。
1分だけ。早いですね。So here we can actually see the tea leaves coming out after the oxidation was stopped. And usually this seems to be quite fast, just about 1 minute passing through this machine, the oxidation is stopped.
この筒の中の温度がだいたい300度ぐらいになっています。
And inside the temperature is about 300 degrees Celsius. それからもう揉むこと。
これは揉むんじゃなくて、
じゃない。
茶葉の水分を軽く飛ばしてる感じです。
And from there, it's a kind of light drying. So now the inner moisture of the leaves are kind of slowly dried up here.
はい、次はこの機械ですけど、これは素重機って言って、もともと煎茶の機械なんですけれども、最近はマリ茶にもこれを使うようになって、軽く揉んで水を出す、飛ばす、風を送ってます。これも
最近だけですか？前は釜入り茶あまりこれは使ってなかった。
かったですね。なんでこれ使うかっていうと、能率が上がる。処理能力が上がる。
So this machine might feel familiar for you if you attended some of these events or visited Japan. That it's actually one that's typically used in sencha production, but recently they are also using it in kamaricha production. It basically does a little bit of light rolling, so again pushing the inner moisture out. But using this machine kind of helps to improve the quality. もっと強くで揉むことですか？
これは10年期。ローリングマシンとかよく言われますけど、これはしっかり揉んで中の水を出してやるっていう工程。
And this machine called Junenki is a strong rolling machine. So this is where the leaves are pressed even harder. There's a weight at the top to push the inner moisture out. And it kind of rotates, rolls around.
これは中重機ですね。これも熱風を送りながら中により手っていうのがついててちょっと説明さらに水分を飛ばしていきます。
これはちょっと温度暖かい感じですか？
そうですね。
So this another rolling machine, but the temperature inside is a little bit higher, so it starts a bit more of the drying process. 何個似てた機械が並んでるんですけど、これみんな同じことですか？何が違いですか？
はい、奥に見える機械は前のと似たような機械なんですけど、手前にあるのは今度は熱風で乾かすんじゃなくて、これは直火って言って、このドラム自体をバーナーで熱して、釜入り茶だからこそこの直火っていうのを使うんですけどね。
これは釜入り茶と茶ですね。煎茶の工場はそういう見たことない気がします。
ここで釜入りの香りがついたりとかします。
So maybe you could see in the last few slides, the machines looked quite similar, round drum. But in the first few, the technique was using warm air to dry to slowly dry the leaves. And those were similar to what you would use in sencha production as well. But this specific one is what is typical for kamairicha. It's a drum that's heated at the bottom. You can see the gas coming in, so gas burner heating the whole drum. And this is one of the machines that really brings out the kamairicha aroma. It's kind of typical, a little bit kind of roasty, nutty aroma of kamairicha. そして、これも使ってますか？
使ってます。これは、他の工場ではもう今ほとんど使ってないんですけれども、まあ、いわゆる釜入り茶の釜入り茶たるゆえんっていうのがこの釜で作っていたからですね、昔。
昔のような。
これで撮影もやってたんですよ。
で、今はそういう、なんていう、火入れ的なこと。
そう、今は火入れと仕上げの乾燥と火入れにうちは使ってますね。
So this machine might look also a little bit familiar. This is the older style kamairicha machine, which in the past was used both for stopping the oxidation, but also for this kind of drying. But now we saw there are more modern machines for stopping oxidation, larger in size as well. And there are very few tea farms that are still using this older style machine, but Kajihara-san does. And the main purpose of it is now kind of final drying and a little bit firing, adding more heat to the leaves. こういうなんか蓋も閉めること。
まあこれ温度が上がるようにたまにかぶせたりして。
And you can see they sometimes can add a lid like this to keep the temperature hot inside. そしてこれ
はお茶を選別する機械で大きさで振り分けたり、粉を抜いたり。これは選別って言って色でお茶を選別する。茎とかを取り除く機械です。
釜入り茶でもそういう使う。なんか形的に分けにくいではないですか？釜入り茶の場合で。
分けにくい、形で分けにくいから色で選別するんです。
So the two machines, this one before and the next one, these are for sorting. And this one basically helps to separate by size, larger leaf and smaller leaf by this kind of mesh. And this machine over here is sorting by color, especially separating the stems out of the leaf. で、今日飲んでたお茶ですね。So this tea we have already tried, kamairicha, but we have one more. そして2番目のお茶に入れましょうか。いいですか、梶原さん。
ほうじ茶。
はい。そう、説明と入れ方またお願いしますね。
ほうじ茶ですね。皆さんほうじ茶は知ってますかね。主に選別した、さっきの機械で選別した茎とか軽いお茶を原料にしたローストティーですね。
So now we are going to try the second tea, that is roasted tea, hojicha. And in this tea, we are using the parts that were separated. We saw it through the sorting machines, like the stems and other parts. And this is also roasted. So, どういう入れ方がいいですか？
はい。ほうじ茶は香りを楽しむお湯を沸かしたて、もう90度以上、100度ぐらいのお湯を使ってください。で、
For kamairicha, we want to enjoy the aroma. And that's why we don't need to cool down the water. We want it to be quite hot. So yeah, 90 degrees Celsius or so.
茶葉の量はややさっきより多めで、4とか5。
うん
適量で
The leaf amount is a bit larger than last time, so about 4 or 5 grams this time. Yeah.
今お湯沸かしてるんで待ってくださいね。
Right. So boiling water now, so a little bit waiting time. お湯の量も同じぐらいですか？
いいです。はい。
100cc. So the water amount is going to be about the same as before, 100 milliliters. So about 4 or 5 grams of tea, 100 milliliters of water, that's around 90 degrees Celsius, or I think you said 190, 96.
190, 194.
194 Fahrenheit. Thank you very much. そう
Is this organic? Organic?
このお茶も有機ですよね。
そうです。もちろん。
Yes. All Kajihara-san's teas are organic,
Awesome. Okay.
including this one as well.
How long is this going to be brewed?
あと、Kajihara-san、抽出の時間はどれぐらいですか？
で、早めで、40秒、30秒。
30秒。So about this time a bit faster, so just about 30 seconds.
Do 入りましたか？
you have it ready? ほうじ茶の色ですね。もちろん。でも、あれ、釜入り茶からほうじ茶するは普通ですか？
ほうじ茶っていう原料は、何使ってもいいと思いますよ。ただ、あまり、自分の経験ではあまり旨味のあるお茶より薄い感じ、軽い感じのお茶の方がほうじ茶には合うって思います。ほうじ茶を作るには。原料として。
So I was asking if it's common to make roasted tea, hojicha, out of kamairicha. And Kajihara-san says you can make hojicha out of anything, but what he notices is that it works better when there's less umami in the material before roasting. So lighter umami makes a nicer hojicha. すごく香りがいいデルフィンからコメントが来てます。美味しいですね。もうこれ。
旨味がない方がいいって言ったけど、うちのほうじ茶の原料は全部一番茶なので、甘みがありますよね、やっぱり。
And the hojicha is made out of the first flush. So even if Kajihara-san said maybe it's better less umami tea to start with for roasting, but because it's first flush, it does have a bit of umami. So yeah, so this is quite interesting. What do you think, everyone?
That's why I love Ujicha. The taste doesn't represent the smell. For me, actually, it's just something that I don't know, I feel. The smell doesn't represent the taste. For me, the smell is more like a little bit remind me of coffee, and I don't like coffee, to be honest. But when you taste it, it's really like sweet. I found it very sweet and very, very comforting tea. I found it. Yeah, a comforting tea, I would call it.
すごいラミエはすごい面白いことが言ってて香りと味は なんか少し違うって言ってます。香りはちょっとコーヒーに似た香りする。でもラミはあまりコーヒーそんなに好きじゃないんですけど、香りだけ考えるとどうなるかって言ってるんですけど、味はすごく甘くて美味しいですって言ってます。
甘いですよね。
そうあとコメントで、アンドリ、インドネシアの方は、ほうじ茶大好きです。で、このほうじ茶、このようなほうじ茶まだ飲んだことないです。Andrew, I just translated your comments. I don't know if you would like to join the conversation and share more with Kajihara-san. Otherwise, it's okay, no problem. Okay, no worries. So very interesting, very unique, this one.
There's a bit of a spiciness to it. Just a little hint of spiciness.
ちょっとスパイシーな感じ。
Very nice. It does have a unique taste.
すごくユニークな。
But it's very nice, very nice. A little spice.
スパイシー。
スパイシー。
そうですね。Okay. Very nice. あと藤原さん、ちょっと前の話に戻るんですけど、チャットで質問聞いてたんですから、ちょっと聞きたくて、山茶の話してた時で、山茶は在来でしょうか在来と違いがあるかどうか質問ですね。
もう言ってしまえば在来ですね。品種は特定されていないです。いろんな形の葉っぱがあります。
So we saw your question also in chat. I think that was probably from the presentation when we were talking about Yamacha, whether it's Zairai. And so Kajihara-san says, yes, it's a kind of Zairai because it's not a cultivar. There is no registered name. It's a mix of natural plants mixing together. このほうじ茶についてまたアンドルから質問来てて、このほうじ茶の品種は、香辛ですか？違う。
違います。何でも混じってます。いわゆる、さっきの機械で選別した茎とか、そういう軽いお茶を全部まとめて焙煎してあります。
So regarding the cultivar, actually it's not one cultivar in this hojicha. Kajihara-san says that he blends many cultivars. So when we saw in the presentation before the step of separation, when they separate the leaves, the stems and the larger leaves, Kajihara-san mixes a few cultivars to make this hojicha. So it's a blend. すごくなんか少しほうじる強めでもすごく美味しくて味深いちょっとナッツみたいなとかウッディ木みたいな香りします。またチャットで書いてますね。
一番多い原
Can I
料
get
は
a picture of everyone?
Sorry, Aiko, could you say again?
Sorry, can I get a screenshot of everybody doing like a kampai? Cheers.
そう、みんなと一緒に写真撮りたい感じですね。お茶飲んでるのシーン。
Thank you.
Hey.
Oh, let me try again. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank
Thank you,
you.
Aiko. Please send it to us as well.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
はい、すみません、梶原さん、さっきのお話。
はい。何だったっけ？
ほうじ茶、ちょっとほうじる強みみたいなことのコメントあります。
うちのほうじ茶は焙煎強いです。で、ほうじ茶、ほうじるときも、さっきの最後のほら仕上げの釜、あれで時間かけてじっくりやってます。普通のほうじ茶はドラム式の 短時間で焙煎するんですけど、
うん
うちのだいたい1時間半ぐらいかけて、ゆっくり中まで火が通るように、ゆっくりゆっくりやってます。
So very interesting about this hojicha. We saw your comments, I think, from Audrey that this was deeper roast. And yes, Kajihara-san says it's roasted a bit more strongly, but it's also a bit different because typically when other hojichas in Japan are made, they are roasted in a big rotating drum. And roasting is a bit shorter, but Kajihara-san is using the pan firing machine, the old one we saw with the lid, and he's roasting in that machine more slowly, so about hour and a half. So slow, a bit more slowly, but a bit more deeply. Yeah. Oh, いいですね。面白い。
That's probably what gives, this unique taste at the end, at the back. Very interesting compared to ojisha that we buy in shops. I mean, not that they are not good, they're good. I mean, in tea shops, usually, hojicha, but this one is really particular at the end. There was like a taste, a very pleasant taste. Yeah.
ラミアは作り方によってそういうこのほうじ茶ちょっと特徴出てるんじゃないかなと、普通とじゃないと言ってますね。普通と違ってて、でそれもそういうちょっと面白み、美味しい、最後に甘み出たりとか、そういう美味しさも感じてます。
よくそう言われます。
So he hears many comments like this. Thanks, Lamia.
I'm kind of curious. Does this hojicha, is it have more caffeine in it because it's roasted? Is it affected that way? Is it more like a green tea or more like a black tea? Where are we in the scheme of?
Well, this might be a long question, but let's see what Kajihara-san can tell us. 梶原さん、パウラの質問はカフェインについて、このお茶はカフェイン自体でどんな感じですか？一番茶から作ってると強かったりするか、どうでしょうか？
うちのお茶のカフェインの量を測ったことはないんですけれども、カフェインレスではないです、まず。で、ほうじ茶は高温でだいたい200度ぐらいかなの釜で入れて、一般的に言われているのは、カフェインは飛ぶって言われているけれども、飛んでしまう、高温でね、飛んでしまうと言われているけれども、ゼロではないです。
So, Kajihara-san has never measured caffeine in this tea, so he cannot say precisely. But but there is a saying that by roasting at high temperature, 200 degrees or so, maybe some of it does go away, but it's not caffeine free. It does have caffeine. How much he cannot say precisely. はい。そしたら、梶原さんもあと1分ぐらいになってて、時間早いですね。最後の梶原さんの、一言、みんなに伝えたいことと、あと、Facebook とかこっちから紹介しますけど、ちょっとみんなに一言。
今日は楽しい時間をありがとうございました。世界中に日本茶のファンが増えていることが本当に実感できて嬉しいです。もしうちのお茶を買いたいという方がおられましたら、ホームページにメール入れていただくか、Facebook で、お問い合わせいただくと、送ることは可能なんで、よろしくお願いします。今日はありがとうございました。
So we are only left 1 minute for today, but Kajihara-san wanted to really say a big thank you to all of you for joining today. He had a great time to spend such a valuable time with all of you from around the world. And if you get interested in his teas, please stay in touch through the Facebook page I'm going to share now, or through his homepage. So it is in Japanese, but if you get interested, Kajihara-san said you can send him a message about his teas, and he is able to ship abroad, so he can send the teas abroad as well. So do stay in touch, and yeah, do get connected. 梶原さん、今日は本当にありがとうございました。
もしメールいただけるときは、
はい。
でも日本語入れといてください。こんにちはだけでも。結構、英文の迷惑メールが結構あって、そのまま削除してしまうんで、消す恐れ。
そうですね。Okay, so one last request from Kajihara-san is that when you contact him, it would be great that if you could also add the Japanese translation to the message. Sometimes it happens if it's English, it gets lost. So even if it's not perfect translation, I think adding a few words in Japanese will help him to recognize that, you are contacting him. So yeah, so just that.
When can we order the oolong, the oolong tea?
あと、最後に、愛子さんは、もう今年、ウーロン茶売り切れたんですけど、来年でしたらいつぐらい予約した方がいいですか
？4月
?4 月ぐらい
タイトルにお茶って入れてもらうと、大体全部読みます。
はい、
メールね、メール。
はい。Yeah, so for next year, if you would like to order it, around April is a good time to contact Kajihara-san. So just send him a message that you would like it.
Okay.
All right. So thank you everyone so much. Thank you for joining. It was amazing to have all of you here. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
ありがとうございまし
Thank
た。
you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you.
See you.
じゃあまたね。